Good morning, this is Daryl from A1 Truck Parts in Alma. I'm going to go over some brake chamber, common questions for brake chambers this morning. Just so you kind of know, we're going to do over a little terminology. If someone asks for a complete 30-30 brake chamber, this is what you're going to give them, a complete 30-30. The top half here is the service side, the bottom half here is the emergency brake side to hold your brakes, okay? This is a common, what we call a 30-30 or 8-inch. A good way to know this is measure across the clamp, should have roughly 8 inches. That's a type 30. Okay, they also make a type 24 and a type 20, but a 30-30 is your most common. If someone says I need a 30-30 brake chamber, this is what you want to give them, a complete. Okay? Another thing you can measure is your distance in your center holes here. Make sure your center holes are right, but all these bolt holes should be the same all the way down to type 6, which would be a type 20. That is a 30-30. And then one question you can ask them is if it's a long stroke or a regular stroke. How you're going to be able to tell by looking at it is where your hoses, your brake hoses fit or screw onto your chamber. It's a round mark here. It's round. It is a short stroke, regular stroke. Where a long stroke, the new style chambers, gives you another ½ inch of stroke, is a square emboisement. That is called a long stroke complete brake chamber. That's your type 30 complete, regular stroke and long stroke. And if someone calls for a service chamber, it's going to be basically just the top half of your complete here with a back cover on it. These are considered for trip, truck, and trailer. And a lot of times you'll find these on steer axles, depending on your width of your bolts here and the size that you have, the room that you have for your steer axle, you may need to go to a smaller chamber, which I brought here, which is called a type 6. Still got your same center to center measurements, but it's a smaller body chamber, smaller can. Saves you the space up near your steer axle. You'll find them quite common on all your steers. Depends on, and back again to measure, just get a rough idea on the clamp size, and that's a 6-inch. They call that a type 20. This is a type 24. This is a 7-inch. They make these just in increments. Depends on what size you have or what width you have for your front of your steer axle and or truck or trailer. That's your service brakes. If someone just wants a service chamber, this is what you're going to sell them. Okay? Without the parking side, without the bottom half. Someone comes in asking for a piggyback kit. This is what we call a piggyback kit. It is the emergency side of your complete. It is the bottom side. It comes with a chamber, a new diaphragm, and a new clamp ring. Okay, just remember on the complete 30-30 here, you can remove this top clamp. The bottom clamp is no longer removable because this is a dangerous side. There's a preloaded spring in there set at 1800 psi. You do not want to take this bottom clamp off at any given time. Top clamp only. If you have a chamber that has a bottom clamp that is replaceable, do not touch it. Top side only, service side, okay? It's got the push rod in it. And the diaphragm, tear that all apart, replace it with your piggyback, take the clamp off, put the diaphragm in, clamp it back. You may have to tap the clamp to get it to bolt in. Sometimes the rubber gets a little bit thicker. Tap the clamp with a hammer and it'll tighten down and seal it up. That's how you replace your piggyback. Okay, and that's the emergency brake side of the brake chamber. Another chamber we're going to talk about is the new air disc brake chamber. Okay, unlike these other chambers that are bolted on to a bracket on your axle with a push rod, this is your new air disc. This chamber actually will sit horizontal. The bottom side of your truck or trailer will sit horizontal. Little push rod to go into your caliper. This is what pushes onto your caliper slides for your brake pads. Okay? It is very important when you install this chamber to hold that in an upright or horizontal position while you're tightening these two mounting nuts. For this push rod to be mounted properly, you need to support this. There is a seal right here in this push rod. If you ruin that seal, it'll contaminate your whole braking system. But this is for the new air disc. It's a lot smaller in body, and it depends on your air disc system, whether you have Meritor, Bendix, or Halidex. The last chamber we're going to talk about is for dump trailers. This is what we call our tailgate cylinder. Similar to the 8-inch service brake chamber, but this has a heavy-duty pullback spring in it. It's aired both ways, or air one way, but it has a heavy-duty spring in here. The spring is a lot heavier duty. So on your dump trailer tailgate latches, as you hit your release in your truck, it releases the latch, and when you take the air away, the spring will pull the latches back tight. This is what you call a tailgate cylinder. These are all available at all branches of A1 Truck Parts.